Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making a punch needle coaster. I wanted a new coaster to brighten up my desk and thought I should make one myself. I wanted one of Forbes' head, but I was afraid that I didn't have enough white yarn to fill his face. So I decided to go with green instead and tell myself that it's plant sim inspired. When I showed my BF the coaster I made, he mentioned that Forbes can wear it as a face, which reminded me of the mask. I've since convinced myself that this coaster is Forbes as the mask. Let's start. By the way, this is not a tutorial. When I was looking up a punch needle to get, I was really attracted to the Oxford punch needles by Amy Oxford. They are so beautiful, but I wasn't sure about the different sizes, and I didn't want to spend $279 on a hobby I might abandon. Also, I wanted to experiment with different loop lengths, so I went with Clover's, which has these adjustable rings, and if I really truly wanted to get into punch needling, I'll purchase the Oxford ones. I'm using monk's cloth. They've got these loose weaves that make it easy to punch a needle through, I guess. I don't know. I looked online and people said to use monk's cloth, but it feels like linen or something might work just as well. I cut a piece of monk's cloth and secured it in an embroidery hook. I tried to make it as taut as possible, but I don't think I did a perfect job. It's actually more difficult than it looks. Perhaps I'm just weak. I think it's good enough for my purposes, so it's good enough for me. I sketched Forbes' face with a water-soluble pen. This pen contains a dye that will dissolve or disperse in water, so I can remove my sketch markings easily later. I got my punch needle on Amazon for $32, which I later realized was a mistake. A craft store I visited was selling it for $24.50. Yay! Anyway, let's read the instructions. I made a little loop at the end of a darning needle, put my shoggoth-looking yarn through that loop, and my darning needle through the punch needle receptacle. I knew I was definitely going to fudge up the first time, so I prepared another hoop to test with. Attempted to do a simple straight line, and it didn't go well. I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Second try turned out pretty good. My loops look uniform in size too. Amazing. Experimented with different loop sizes for fun and decided to work with the medium loops for this project. I wasn't comfortable with small hoops because they seem like they could very easily come undone. Maybe next time. And we're off punching. I really struggled and ended up redoing the outline after I got some hang of it. It was then that I thought about how to finish the project and found out about the velvet-like style surface. I like it. So I undid the outline again and replaced it with a looped surface. It looks odd right now, but we'll trim it down later. I punched Forbes' yellow beak, red tongue, and blue eyes. I had intended to punch his sensor, but I didn't have pink yarn, so I decided to leave it. And I'm just left with filling the piece up with green yarn. Since I'm making the velvet surface, it didn't matter if the stitches or loops are of uniform length. I just punched anyhow. I tried to pack the stitches close together so that the final product will be dense and soft. I'm showing this clip at 10 times the normal speed. I'm actually really slow. Look, this is me punching at normal speed. When I started editing videos, I was shocked by how badly I estimated speed. Chook speed, literally making something twice as fast, can still feel slow. I mean, look, I think it's more useful to think about it in terms of, if my video is 15 minutes long, Making it twice as fast will make it 7.5 minutes. So if I want to condense it down to 30 seconds, I'll need to make my 15-minute video 30x as fast. It took me around 2 hours to fill in his green face. I think it's a reasonable time for a beginner. Little Furbong is so excited. We're almost done. But it's late, so we shall go to sleep and continue the next day. The next morning, I glued the back of the project with fabric glue. I used a brush to spread the glue evenly. This is the only thing securing the project together, so I applied a few layers of glue. It's kinda wild to me. I expected a knot somewhere at least. Then I topped it off with a piece of felt and weighed it down with 2 books. I left it for a day to dry. Furbong is excited. The yarn stuck pretty well together, but the felt refused to fuse. It's fine because I'll use a hot glue gun later. I trimmed the loops to create that velvet finish. It's a repetitive and surprisingly long process of trimming and vacuuming. The final product is so nice and soft. They glue the back of the piece to a piece of felt with hot glue. Hot glue dries fast, so I'm gluing small parts at a time. It adhered really well. Then I cut all excess cloth and felt. I cut as close to the edge of the piece as possible so it looks neat. I think I did quite well. I don't like that the whites are visible from the side when I lay the coaster on my desk though. My plan was to blanket stitch all around the coaster to give it a nice trim. Does anyone else use saliva to wet your fibers to make threading easier? Thank you, Furbong, for providing your saliva. The coaster was rather thick and I couldn't find my thimble, so it was quite hard to do a blanket stitch along the edges. I tried and a few strands of yarn got pushed out. I can't afford to lose any. I had what I thought was a brilliant idea to iron the edges of the green yarn to hide the whites. It actually worked. I mean, it isn't perfect, but good enough. I'm very pleased with this result. I've been using the coaster for a little over a week. I love it.